What is good, 2MW? What's popping? We're starting off again with Fury, another week, another show, more football. Preseason just started. I know you guys couldn't wait. I know you guys is itching all postseason. And it started again. We got, a good season for you guys. Tim's back at it again. Josh, Shimmy is back at it again. Dula is back at it again. What's going on, guys? What's popping? What's good, Tim? You know what it is.
Free Zeke.
Six weeks Zeke. 6 weeks.
It's gonna be a good show today. Free Zeke. We're gonna start off with the comments by Hugh Jackson. Him saying that he hopes that he doesn't have none of his players protest. I'm gonna say this before I say how I really feel about everything. I respect the protest, and I respect the message. I didn't agree with Hugh Jackson for what he said. I was kind of surprised. Basically he's from Mara, other owners as far as I think for the Arizona Cardinals, how they fell. But then, when you look at Hugh Jackson being an African American, it was kind of surprising. I don't know him personally to disrespect him, but I have to respect his view because that's what politics about. You can agree to disagree. But I will say this. I'm gonna explain this from looking at his point of view. I'm just gonna explain what I think he was getting at. I feel is in the NFL. The enemy is the media. The media is a big distraction. A lot of these things are made up because the team feels will distract the team for doing what they need to do. So basically, Hugh Jackson trying to rebuild a team like the Browns, who hasn't been anything for a long time. That's something I know organizations don't want. Was getting that. In my opinion, I'd rather an owner than the head coach, because now you don't know how your players are going to react towards you, how they feel about that. Like, wow, if I got something to say, I can't say it because X, Y, and Z. Even though he say he hopes it don't happen, I don't think a player is going to risk costing his check to do it now.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit twisted in this country, just to put it bluntly. We kind of touched up on it before in our personal Fury messenger group. Not everyone is gonna really look at it the same. Everyone's always gonna have a different opinion or a view on why we sing the national anthem or what standing for it actually means and who it's honoring.
Right.
I have mixed feelings because if I was an NFL player like Amir Abdullah, I absolutely understand where he's coming from. Never would I want to be told you can't do this and X and Y. You're a football player, stick to football. That's like the most asinine comment or direction to really give an athlete or anyone in general. If you heard that from your employer, I'm sure you would be kind of a little pissed off of someone trying to mother you in the employer kind of like labor workforce per se. Grown-ass men don't want to be told what to do, especially when it comes to life values, laws, and politics in general. So, but at the same time, if my employer told me, hey, we frown upon you as employees participating in this and this, and we'd rather you not, I myself, I value my job. I'm going to be like, whatever, F it. I need my paycheck, but then again, you're going to have the people that don't agree as much, and they're going to be vocal about it. They're going to stand up and say, middle finger to you guys, I'm going to do what I want, and this is how it's going to be because I'm not standing for this crap. So I don't know. It's how is Hugh Jackson really come about it? Is he saying it because he knows really owners are valuing the fan base first and foremost, and they're like, hey, no, if our fan base isn't going to like it, please just don't do it, stick away with it, just play football. I know that comes off as like, play football, just throw the ball and get your check. That's all you need to do. Right. But it's such a sticky situation right now, man. There's so many angles and viewpoints to look at it from. But like yeah, it's hard to take Hugh Jackson's comments in stride and just run with it. You know, I understand. It's hard to agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
Dula,
you're muted.
It takes a lot for me to, not go full Shannon Sharp on this because, okay, on one hand, I get it. It's Hugh Jackson. Let me explain something to all the listeners out there. You're a black head coach, whether it be in college sports or whether it be in pro sports, you don't really get second chances, right? He's on his second chance, and he really picked one hell of a team to be on his second chance with, it being the Cleveland Browns. So on one hand, I'm sure the guy wants to keep his job because, frankly, if he gets fired from this, he'll probably never be a head coach in the NFL again.
Sad reality.
To be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many? I mean, Lovie Smith got a second chance, so did Jim Caldwell. But Lovie Smith's chance ran out pretty quickly. Jim Caldwell may have, overstayed his welcome in Detroit. But not many African-American head coaches and go to the college ranks. After a guy gets fired, that's it. They don't become a head coach again. It's hard. So I'm sure he wants to keep his job. I'm sure he wants his, I'm sure he's trying to come at this from, I'm trying to only protect my players, my team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sure that he's on a short leash because, frankly, if they go 1-15 again, I don't think he'll be there that long. Granted, we're not saying the Browns are going to be world beaters or anything, but you can't have last year happen again given what they've done in the offseason.
Right. Definitely.
On the other hand, I just don't get it. Between him, Des Bryant, some of these other athletes, why are you even talking? Why? If someone poses the question, don't answer the question. Leave it alone. Because you're only digging yourself a hole on either side. And it also baffles me that even in the comments, how short-sighted they are. That, these players are protesting for a reason. Frankly, because they're black. Frankly, because some of these issues that have happened centered around black males. Well, what do you know? They're black males. No shit, Sherlock. This isn't hard. It's easy to say keep it about football. But you know what? Football is only a small part of their lives. After the game, they got to go home. And I don't know if you've watched some of these movies or just in general, but if you're a minority in this country, no one cares how much money you can make. You can get it too. It's been plenty of people who have been affluent with money who have been, unfairly targeted, et cetera, by law enforcement. And, you're like, oh, they have money. No one cares. You're a minority. So be it. Get over it. And I think that's what Hugh Jackson is ultimately missing here in sake of he wants to keep his job.
I mean, if I could just throw in a couple of things here and, just take it away from the atmosphere in the NFL and just look at it in a human perspective. And, the fans, I understand fans are on both sides of the issue. And I just have one thing to say to people. Look, I understand you can feel a certain way, and I can understand that, what one thing may be not disrespectful to one person be disrespectful to another person. So how you take it is you take it, and I'm not here to interject how you're supposed to feel. But don't do the same thing to the athletes who's protesting. So, and Kaepernick, he never says he hates America. And I want people to understand, you may feel that, hey, this is disrespecting America in my point of view, and that is fine. That is your opinion, and you can express that. But what Kaepernick is saying is, no, he's being critical about the where our country is heading, and he wants to bring awareness where our country's heading. My best analogy is this. And, if you're a parent, most parents love their kids, right or wrong. Most parents want to celebrate their kids, right or wrong.
Right.
But when your kids do wrong, do you buy them ice cream? When your kid brings back a D, do you go buy pizza? No. You're going to, hey, timeout. You need to go and do 500 of those math problems that you failed in your last exam. And your kids is going to feel kind of way about it. And your kids might say, man, daddy, you hate me, mommy. No, I love you. but you fucked up. Now go do 100 lessons until you get it right. And it's the same thing in this aspect. It's not that Kaepernick hates his country. Obviously, he donated so much to so many causes and so many different organizations. Why would someone who hates America do that? But he's just expressing his criticism because we know we can do better. So I just want people just to look at it in that perspective. You can still feel it's disrespectful because you know what? This is how you take life. This is your vision. This is your expression. Everybody has expression, but don't interject your expression on other people. That's all I gotta ask.
And just to touch up on Dula's comment about football such a short part of their lives, it really is. What's the average career of an NFL player? 3.5 years? That's shorter than your high school tenure. And how much of your high school years do you really remember or can you recall?
Man, I at the high school, man. I didn't even look back.
You know, I just want to see. You know, it already started out with Michael Bennett. He protested. Now with Marshawn Lynch of the Oakland Raiders, he sat down, but he's been doing this for 11 years. And I just want to add on for what I was saying about the media being a distraction, and what some people don't get. When you're saying "I love blue" to the media, it shouldn't be an article where it's saying you like red. And Michael Bennett basically said why he said that. He explained everything in detail, you know, about equality. He said it shouldn't matter. We shouldn't have people who hate you because of the way you dress, look, sexuality, nothing. We all got to come together. We all got to love each other. That's basically what he said. No writer should even be a human being to want to write something totally different. Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch have been sitting down, be in the locker room for the national anthem from years since Cal. And he said it to the Raiders, I'm not protesting, I'm just sitting down. But again, the media is still saying he's protesting. Those are the things what I meant by distractions. Why? You're saying it, I like blue, but they're writing I like red. And what happens is when you get that negativity response or whatever, it can affect your game. It can really affect your game. And just to put that out there with domestic, not trying to switch over to a different topic, but like with Greg Hardy and domestic violence, when those pictures came out last year, it affected him as a person. Why? Because the players, the fans, they started judging him, started seeing him. It becomes a crazy thing. So distraction is a big part of football that no team wants. I'm not saying Hugh Jackson was correct. I totally agree with everything he said, but I understand distraction, and nobody wants that.
Sounds good to me. You want to get into this little AFC prediction talk, Timothy? I know our viewers have been waiting for this segment probably. I know we got some Raiders fans that have been yippy-yappy. We got some Buffalo fans that have been hypey sauce. We even got Jets fans that think they're getting 8 to 9 wins.
Super trash.
I don't burst Trisha bubble like that. Trisha's watching this.
She watching. Listen, she can't get mad, and she better not make a phone call. She don't like what we gotta say. Raiders fans, Steelers fans, y'all all better hold up and chill. We're gonna say our piece first.
Let's do it.
You can lead the way, Josh.
All right, baby. You know what? I got to start off with the ether. I'm sorry. Let's get the poison out so the healing process can start as soon as possible. For the AFC East, we're going to start off with my bottom tier team, a.k.a. number 4 in the division, is going to be your lovely New York Jets, where in training camp, the quarterbacks have to stay 2.5 hours just to get their reps down and stop hitting reporters on the sideline. Not only that, your top receiver, Quincy Enunwa, who's probably going to be a number 3 or 2 on any other damn team in the league, is now out for an extended period of time, if not the season. I cannot recall on that. That's not good news. And now we got Bilal Powell, who's going to be another head of a monster. He's always been a 3-headed, 2-headed, 4-headed, 5-headed. When are you going to give this guy the rock? Are you going to play this 40-year-old Matt Forte until he breaks his legs too? Jets are seeing 2 wins this year. And you know what? Those 2 wins are coming against at Cleveland in week 5 And I'll give you a sympathy win against the Chargers in Week 16, just because it's getting towards the end of the year. How about that?
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm going to go right here, and I'm not saying it because me and Trisha are cool. All right? I'm going to be nice. I'm not scared of Trisha. Put it out there right now. I got the Buffalo Bills number 4.
Whew.
See, here's the thing. And Hobbs, I know you're watching Hobbs. Don't do no magic trick, Hobbs, and make me disappear. I don't want to be in no trees somewhere, nothing like that. But here's the thing. When you trade away Sammy Watkins, you trade away a hope of something. You got Jordan Matthew in return. Y'all didn't even want Jordan Matthew to begin with. Y'all just wanted a draft pick for Ronald Darby. So you gave up Darby, a corner. You got Jordan Matthew, who hurt himself in camp already. So now your receivers are Anquan Bolden and Zay Jones. And if Jordan Matthew is healthy, the guy from the Oakland Raiders, who used to be a Dallas Cowboy and a Raider, I don't want to mention his name. You got a 40-year-old man, Jake, and Charles Clay. I mean, you got defense, yeah, but again, what's Tyrod Taylor got again? What does he got? 2-minute warning. All males who want to try for the Bills camp for wide receivers, just sign up.
Damn. Okay, so going with my number 3 team is actually going to be not Buffalo, but it's Miami. I have Miami just a win under Buffalo this year because I honestly think they would have been better off with the chemistry and Matt Moore. Miami, they're going to try the heavy running attack again. I don't have much faith in Ajayi being that franchise running back. Oh, killed it with back-to-back 200-yarders. I know Dolphins fans are out there going to be like, "Yo, this guy's crazy. He's dumb." Hey, you're what much of an offensive line do you really have? And then those receivers are still young, and they might get feisty. They're young, and if you're going with a running game, Jarvis is hungry, Devontae's hungry, Kenny Stills is hungry. Man, how are you going to keep that freaking offense happy? 5-11.
Oh, man. Well, here's the thing, Josh. I got the New York Jets number 3. Okay. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit what you were saying. You got Richie Anderson. Is that his name, Richie Anderson? Let's call Mr. Anderson. That's a wrestler. Just Mr. Anderson. Because who cares about the first name? The guy only played 1 year of football. Who's the other receiver? Damn. Oh, who's the
right now? The starting receivers are for the Jets are Robbie Anderson and Sharon Peak.
Killing it.
Sharon Peak. Yeah, he came on last year, like in the last 2 games of the season. Oh well, the defense is solid. I give the defense solid, but the defense cannot win games every single game. You're gonna have to score points. I don't like the running game situation with Bilal Powell and Matt Forte. I think that just to trade Sheldon Richardson for something. Use him for something. Sign him. Just trade it for a player. New York Jets, this is the time to start rebuilding towards next year. Trade Sheldon Richardson. You don't want him. Get a player on offense in return. You know what? Hey, maybe the Atlanta Falcons may want Sheldon Richardson. Hey, they're going that 3-4 defense. Tevin Coleman is up for trade, which I heard. That's a good look. Oh, trade Richardson to the Bengals for Hill, the running back. There you go. Trading for players.
There you go. I like that. It's not a bad scheme. I'm moving on to number 2 in the AFC East. 1 win above the Miami Dolphins is going to be the Buffalo Bills at 6-10. You know, they're going to do Buffalo things. The new receiver, Zay Jones, I like him. Great prospect. He's going to be one of my favorite receivers, I believe, coming out of this draft class. But as a rookie, man, that's a heavy load to take on by yourself and already trying to become a leader. Anquan Bolden's still a minimum men, but he's old, man. He's not going to have the same separation he always did. I think Detroit was like his last kind of like fighting years, and now he's just going to be really on the decline. I'm kind of sad to see Anquan play because I don't want to see him dwindling. But, you know, Buffalo's going to do Buffalo things, take a win off the Jets in the first week, and I think they just go on a 4 straight L streak right there. At Carolina, L. Denver, L. At Atlanta, that's an L. And then at the Bengals, you can argue that's an L before they go on their bye. So it's not looking good again. Buffalo fans, I'm sorry. This is just the history of the past 10, 15 years. You guys are used to it. Drink up. Bud Light.
Well, you know what? My number 2 is going to be not only a team they're going to be the sleeper team in the playoffs. Even though we're going to do playoff next week, the Miami Dolphins. All you fans out there disrespecting Jay Cutler, disrespecting the man, y'all gotta understand what it is to be surrounded by great talent without injuries after injuries after injuries after injuries. Again, Landry, Devontae Parker, Jay Ajayi, that defense. Oh my God! Trust him. And Adam Gase with Jay Cutler, it's a match made in heaven. Watch that team. You know what? I see an 11-5, 12-4 year for that team.
All right, nice. After our number one team here, Duel is going to tell us where we went wrong and what we're crazy about. So New England, it's not even going to be a contest. 14-2, I have them listed at. I'm actually. It was hard to give them losses going over their schedule, man. I'm not lying. You could say I'm a Patriots hater being a Giants fan, but I give respect where respect is due. I'm going to say their first loss potentially comes against Atlanta there in week 7, even though it's a home game. And then it's possible, but I may not have, at Oakland, week 11. I know Oakland fans, I'm getting them hype after I just try to calm them down, but that's a game that if things are going good in Oakland and Patriots have to travel out there to the West Coast, that could be a really entertaining game. So 14-2 New England, I think they're going to wrap it up.
Patriots 15-1. 15-1. We did this before. I got them a rest. They made me rest a 40-year-old quarterback against Tom Brady. Listen, weapons out there. If everybody's healthy, 15-1. It's hard to give him an L anyway. And I think Cooks is gonna do something similar to what Randy Moss did when he got there. He's probably the best wide receiver, explosive they ever had since Moss. So. That's it.
Slot it up. Yeah. Dula, where did we go wrong, brother?
Let me just go quickly by these teams. Look, I agree. It's Patriots or bust. They just got too much talent. They're just too good. I think their floor is 11 wins, which is one hell of a floor. I don't see them losing any. I don't see if they're under 11 wins, I'm shocked. They're just too good, and the schedule's too easy. It's too favorable for them. As far as the rest of the teams, I'm not high on Buffalo. Zay Jones may be in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year because he's going to get a lot of touches.
Yeah.
He's their de facto number 1 receiver now.
Mm-hmm.
I like Anquan Bolton in Detroit, but Anquan Bolton is slow. He's more of a possession receiver. In fact, Detroit used him at tight end sometimes because he's not fast. This is another year. If you're asking me, I think it goes Patriots, Dolphins, Bills, Jets. I think the Jets may be close to Detroit Lions 2008 level of talent. They're that bad. I don't think they'll go 0-16, but they're pushing it. They're really testing it out. I agree Sheldon Richardson should be moved somewhere. They have talent on defense. They got Jamal Adams. They got Mo Wilkerson. I feel bad for them because it's going to be a long season. Todd Bowles is kind of your lame duck head coach there. I don't know what they're going to do next. Christian Hackenberg or Josh McCown is going to be your quarterback. It doesn't bode well. Miami may surprise a little. Jay Cutler has had talent before. Jay Cutler had Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey, Matt Forte, and a defense. And he pretty much spent the better part of this decade pissing that away. For whatever it's worth. So we'll see what happens in Miami, but Patriots are bust. That's all I got to say.
Sounds good, man. Let's move this on to the next division in the AFC. Sean, you got something for us?
Oh, no. I'm just saying let's move on to the next division.
All right, cool. AFC West, the division with the Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders. Oh, man. I believe I do have the lack on the bottom of this division, which would be the Los Angeles Chargers. I think they get a lucky Monday night win to start off the season because it's always a fib in week 1. They're at Denver. You can argue, obviously, they're not the better team, but hey, teams win in games in week 1. They're really not supposed to, and then things change by week 3 or 4. So I have the Chargers at 5-11, and they're going to be feasting on the bottom of very competitive AFC West this year?
Well, you got the Chargers, right?
Correct.
See, I have the Chiefs.
What?
At number 4 this year. Yes, I'm sorry, Bobby, if you're listening out there, I'm sorry. But see, my thing is quarterback is very important. And when I saw a GM, a GM who gets fired the middle of the season, no GM should not be getting fired at the beginning of a new season. It should be getting fired the season before that, because you want to get rid of Jeremy Maclin because of cap money. So now, don't get me wrong, the Chiefs got a defense, but where's the identity in the offense? I'm sorry, I know Travis Kelce's an all-star tight end, but when it comes to wide receiver, you're telling me Tyreek Hill is not now. He's not going to return any kicks this year. So I'm only going by what's being told. He's not returning any kick this year because he's concentrating on being the number 1 wide receiver. Disgusting. You don't have Jamal Charles there no more, even though he's been hurt almost last year. Okay, now we're talking about quarterback issues. You want to get rid of Alex Smith. There's talks about him not being the same type of guy. So Pat Mahomes, a rookie quarterback, is moving up to the number 2 spot. Something's fishy over there, Josh. I'm not feeling it. So you know why? Because they're playing with my emotions. I'm going to play with my pick.
Man, that's harsh, though. That's crazy. We might have polar opposites for the West. So the number 3 team I'm moving up to, right below Oakland, is going to be Denver at 11-5. Yes, the 3rd place team in the West is going to be 11-5. Denver is going to start off with a loss, like I said, against the Chargers, but they squeak out some wins against Dallas, Buffalo, Oakland, and then they go on a bye and they come back and they get a win, I believe, against the Giants, and then the Chargers again before suffering a loss at Kansas City Stadium. Arrowhead is not easy to play in. But I think they got the defense is still intact. It's not the number 1 defense. Or I don't believe Harris and Aqib Talib are the number 1 corners. I think they might be like 2 or 3, but they still got the defense intact. I think that D-line is still sustainable enough to be impactful, middle of the corp, or, kind of like a little above average. And, I think, like you said, it might hamper on QB play, like you said, with earlier teams, but I have faith in John Elway and his QB assessing skills, so I don't think they'll be in too much trouble at all. And Paxton Lynch, if he is a starter, I think he can amount to something very special.
Oh, listen. You know what, Josh? I'm gonna agree with you with this one. I'm going Denver Broncos number 3 in this division. Why? Well, today's Wednesday. Today's hump day. I'm gonna give you guys a hint. Today's hump day. Why is the reason why I'm picking the Broncos? Oh, Simeon. Travis Simeon is the reason why he's number 3. You know why? Because the guy couldn't do nothing last year. He got no arm strength. Now, we're talking about Lynch beating him out for the job. Wait, you got an all-cast defense with Von Miller, Aqib Talib, stacked over there. Oh, what's the cornerback's name?
Chris Harris.
Chris Harris. There you go. Who Dallas said is the best corner in the NFL. And you know what? I'm kind of leaning towards that. So my whole thing is this. You still haven't figured out who's the best quarterback. You also got Emmanuel Sanders. You also got Demaryius Thomas. Where's the running game at? Who's running the ball? Wait a minute. The guy they call the man who's all messed up now, is running the football for the Denver Broncos. Come on now, that makes no sense. Come on, Jamal Charles, and you got Richie, you got Anderson too. Is that they're not settled yet? So as of now, they're number 3.
Number 2 for me is going to be Oakland, and they're tied with Denver with record 11-5, but I have them with 1 more divisional win, so that puts them in the number 2 slot. I have Oakland starting off hot. 3-0 before they traveled to Denver in week 4, and they've suffered their first loss there, Mile High. And then they come back, though, and they get hot with wins against Baltimore, the Chargers, and they squeak out a big win against Kansas City. But going on, Oakland, we've all heard about their changes, offensive additions. I'm a huge believer in Lynch. I've been saying it for the past 5 months of this offseason. I think he can be not only big in the fantasy game, but big just overall for Oakland. And behind Lynch, they have great serviceable backs that can be a great complementary piece for him. So yeah, 11-5 for Oakland this year, but we'll see how they do come playoff time.
This is bad because, and again, I have to show some love to Dillon. And I'm gonna show him love afterward. He gonna know what I'm talking about. Josh, I agree with you. My number 2 team is the Oakland Raiders. You know why? Again, it's not. I just named 2 teams with quarterback issues. Derek Carr coming back from injury, got a good offense. Got a nice Madden offense, but where's the Madden defense? Where is the Madden defense? I don't see anybody. I don't see anything out there but Mac as a real threat to any quarterback in the division. So you know what? I see Oakland number 2. There's a reason Oakland's number 2. My reason would be who's my number 1 team.
Yeah, and my number 1 team is, I can't believe you put him at the bottom, is going to be the Chiefs. I understand that you're worried about Alex Smith, but when you have playmakers like Tyreek Hill that can just take the ball and take it like 50, 60 yards, you really don't have to worry about Alex Smith not being a deep ball kind of guy. He showed like last year he can – he's a great regular season quarterback. I won't really touch up on how he does in the playoffs since we are really just touching up on regular season here. But yeah, we've all seen it. His numbers are great. He's a fantastic quarterback in the regular season. He gets knocked on because he's just a dink and dunk kind of guy, but he gets the job done, and that defense is top notch in Kansas City right now. And I know they got some big pieces to plug in. I know that big boy from Mississippi State. I want to see him get on that defensive line. I know he was a steal a couple years ago, or Chris Jones, I believe it was. Not sure, but yeah, they got some pieces, man. And Marcus Peters, he's still on the upswing, and I think Kansas City just has the pieces for a 13-win season this year.
Well, my number 1 team is the team that I'm gonna give Dell all the respect in the world. I've been paying attention to them. It's the LA Chargers. I've seen the light. Here's the thing: they have the best quarterback in the division still. I don't think the Raiders can go toe-to-toe and score with them. I think the Chargers got probably the 3rd best defense, but the thing is, the Chargers defense doesn't have to carry the Chargers offense. That's my take right there. So, even though I know they got a rookie, Mike Williams, who they said he might play in October, but you still got guys like Antonio Gates, Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon. You still got pieces for Phillip Rivers. Rivers would throw that ball all day long, and that's the one thing that is different from this division that we have to value. They all got great defense, but a defense cannot carry offense too long. You're gonna need to score points with this Chargers team, even though they're gonna have the worst stadium playing in StubHub Stadium. But I think they're gonna show something.
Good stuff. All right, so that wraps up the West for us. Nice. We're going to move it on to the North. We got the division of the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers.
Oh, he's going to ignore me again.
Oh, yeah. My fault, Dula. Total apologies.
All right. Just real quick on all 4 teams. I think every team in this division is going to regress except for the Chargers. Only because the Chargers, I doubt they do any worse than they did last year. Why? So if you look at Oakland, everyone talks about, Derek Carr, how many, comeback wins. That's not a good thing, right? Because what does that imply? That implies you were down a lot. So everyone talks about, Matt Stafford. The Lions went 9-7. 8 of those wins were comeback wins. What does that tell you about when the other losses? That means they got trounced all those other games. That's something that's not very sustainable. I agree. On offense, they should be set. On defense, I'm just waiting for their talented pieces to come together and perform to expectations. I don't think it's going to happen this year, even with Gary and Conley in the secondary. Cool. Denver. I'll say 2 things about Denver. First of all, I'd worry if Paxton Lynch has not beat out Trevor Siemian yet. That worries me a lot. Because Trevor Siemian is a low-end game manager. So if a guy who's basically sat the last year can't beat him out, that was a first-round pick that you traded up for, yeah, I'm worried a little bit. Secondly, everyone talks about the defense. I think their run defense is pretty bad last year. You can run on this team. So if I can run on this team and control the clock, meanwhile their offense is going to sputter and sputter because of Trevor Siemian, I'm not that afraid of him anymore. Maybe if I can't run on them, that's a different story. But if I can run on Denver, they're not that scary anymore. Kansas City, I still think that's the class of the division. I don't see how they got worse. I do worry about Tyreek Hill as your number one receiver. And opposite Tyreek Hill is a bunch of guys.
Right.
Anthony Thomas, Amara Darboh, Chris Conley. Yeah, it's not that. But if you look at that offense in Kansas City, it's not needed a lot of game-breaking number one receivers. It's dink and dunk, and they have a trio of running backs. Everyone talks about Kareem Hunt. Watch out for Kareem Hunt, everyone. LA Chargers, I'm really enamored with this team only because Phillip Rivers, as I said earlier in the group, he does a good job of making things happen with absolutely nothing. And the analogy I give is that year in and year out, they've tried to give him weapons. Like, all right, we'll get you Keenan Allen. He can't stay healthy. All right, cool. Ryan Matthews is a bust. We'll get you Melvin Gordon. He can't stay healthy. Okay, we'll draft Mike Williams for you. Get your weapon. He's out until October. He hasn't played a down in the NFL yet. Hasn't played in camp yet. Okay, we'll get you Forrest Lamp, and Dan Feeney to help protect you. Forrest Lamp isn't playing this year, ACL. So it's just like Phillip Rivers, I feel bad for because year in and year out, they try to give him weapons, and they can't stay healthy. But even with that, I like their defense. The pieces on offense they do get Allen back. They get Travis Benjamin. They get Tyrell Williams, Dontrell Inman. They have players. I don't know if I'll say they're a division winner yet, but I do think that they'll be in the playoffs this offseason.
Bad. Yeah, that's surprising. It's hard for me to look at the Chargers in that light. I still feel like they just have a lot of, I don't know, pieces and gaps on both sides of the ball. You're not big names, but they definitely were serviceable last year with Inman and them.
Right.
We'll see how it goes. It's interesting that we kind of have different views on that. Yeah, bringing it to the next one, the AFC North. This one I kind of have close knit. I honestly don't have anyone going above 10 wins in the North this year. But my bottom tier team at the North is for 2017. It's not really a shocker, even though I like some of the pieces they added this year, is the Cleveland Browns. I think they're still only going to squeak away with maybe 4 wins this year. But obviously we all know there are big pieces they got in the draft with Garrett and Peppers, Joku, and they really beefed up that offensive line, which is really going to be good for a few years to come, especially if they're looking at a QB in this coming class, with Darnold or Allen or whoever they may go for, or Rosen. But yeah, it's just going to be a little tough year for Cleveland fans, but stick in there. You might be on the up for once.
Well, of course, the Browns. I'm going to say this: a lot of us may not respect Hugh Jackson's comment for what he said earlier this week, but you're going to have to respect him as a head coach, because I'm going to say a couple of things. Hugh Jackson knows how to make a quarterback get real better than when he came in. He's going to show you Brock Osweiler. Brock Osweiler will improve from what we saw as a Houston Texan. It may say, wait a minute, damn, Bill O'Brien's a bad coach, X, Y, and Z. You're gonna look at Hugh Jackson and you're gonna respect his coaching. Not only am I picking the Browns because they're already building. First win of the season will come against the Steelers. The first game of the season, you need somebody to set the tone. Their tone, they're gonna play hard all year, maybe have 3 to 4 wins. But that number 1 win will be the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Browns will finish number 4 in the division.
Nice. For my third team, It's going to be a little disappointing for these fans, I believe, because they had so much talk about their offensive weapons this year with the Cincinnati Bengals. But I believe they're going to be an 8-8 team this year. I believe it's their defense that's really going to hold them back. John Ross is exciting, and I know it looks like they're probably trying to either trade away Jeremy Hill or that backfield might be getting a little too crowded. Not too much really to say, though. I mean, they didn't really address the middle linebacker core like I really wanted them to. Vontez Burfict area, and the D-line really isn't too much to write home about. So got some aging corners back there in Cincy too. I just feel like it's going to be a 500 season for him, Tim.
Oh, well, my number third, my third team is going to be a shocker. I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. Been a real. Why I say that? Because, first of all, has anybody seen Le'Veon Bell? Is he around? Wait, you mean to tell me Big Ben hasn't spoken to him? He's not even want to speak to Big Ben, your franchise quarterback. Wait. Antonio Brown is saying he should be here. Wait, you supposed to do that? He's not speaking to him? Wait, Martavis Bryant is saying, I want to speak to Big Ben when in training camp, when I gave me as a man, what's going on here, Josh? There's a problem. Wait, and not only that, we got contracts coming up. You can't get Le'Veon Bell to take his contract, but we got guys like Ryan Shazier, who is the only, probably the best defensive player they have, who's a part-time player. Then you got a guy, Hayward, who's a very good player. I know they can't afford him. He'll be on a free agent market, so he's up for sale. So I look at it, the defense didn't get better. All right, they got T.J. Watt. He got 2 sacks against the Giants, against Josh Johnson the other day. These guys are putting up posters as if he's in the Hall of Fame or something. My God, 2 sacks in the preseason.
Did you see him go up against that air?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, let's keep it real. I was
Gold
like,
jacket, wow, in my opinion.
Might as well give him one. Now they thinking that they Watt all of a sudden. No, he's his little brother. He still got time to grow. But anyhow, too many problems going on. Martavis Bryant, he's paying for a contract. He won't be on that team next year. And then Big Ben talking about retirement. Big Ben, he's a warrior. The toughest quarterback I've ever seen play. He will play with one leg if he had to. The problem is, I question his desire to keep going forward. When a teammate has to please play one more year, he may take one hit that he know what I could be out for 2 or 3 years and come back, but he may say, what, I'm done. And that, to me, I see the falling of the Steelers right here, right now. Hold the call, Sean. Hold the call.
I know, but Corey Donaldson said drunk again, Steelers in 3rd place.
I'll answer that later.
Okay. Don't worry, guys. The call will be open as soon as we're done with the predictions. Carry on.
They don't want to call. They better not call.
Second team in that division for me. Skating by barely the top team. Second is going to be the Baltimore Ravens with 9-7 record. I still feel like they'll have one of the better defenses in the league. If not, last year I know they had like the #1 passing defense through middle of the season. I don't know where they really ended at, but I know they've acquired a couple pieces that I liked during the draft. The offense is still, left a little to be desired, especially at the receiving area. Not Jeremy, but what was it? Kamar Aiken and Perriman. Nothing really to gawk at. And Perriman has been having his own issues. He looks like he's 45 in his second year, especially with his injuries piling up. But I believe Baltimore is going to be second, and that's only because they finish with one less divisional win than the top seed.
Right. Well, you know what, Josh? I'm gonna agree with you right there. I had the Baltimore Ravens at number 2. Of course, I got Joe Flacco, but I'm gonna talk about something they improve on that defense. We got, of course, Brandon Williams. We got Terrell Suggs. Got C.J. Mosley, who's a stud middle linebacker. All right. Now, I own draft expert in he talked about a guy named Tyrese Bowser, who they stole, who's another pass rusher on that team, which I want to see him. I want to see that boy's in a ball. So they put the defense back to the way it went a long time ago, and that was defense, pass rush. And of course, Joe Flacco got some. You got Terrence West. You got Mike Wallace. You got Brashard Perriman got to step up. You got Jeremy Maclin, who the Chiefs let go. So he got something there, but that defense is gonna ball out. They're gonna ball out for number 2 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I was saying, my number 1 team in that division will probably be the Steelers. Nothing crazy, 9-7 still. I think they just get one more divisional win than the Ravens, putting them at that top seed and barely skating by into the playoffs. I think they start off the season well. They got Cleveland, Minnesota, Chicago. So they'll be all up in arms about being the best in the league by week 3. But they'll be humbled again by Baltimore, traveling there and catching an L. But they'll be revamped by a win at Jacksonville. So, y'all hear Steelers fans going off, but they'll catch some L's. They got a row of L's coming up in the middle of the season. Got at Detroit, abide at Indianapolis, at Cincinnati, at Houston. Then you got the Patriots. They're going to get their fair share, Tim, I believe. But again, I think they barely skate by with a 9-7 record and one more divisional win than the Ravens just to get that top seed in the West.
No, you know what? My shock is the Bengals. My shock is the Bengals going number 1. Will win this division. I personally think they're going to have the best running game in this division, especially if Hill's not traded yet. But I think will be that guy towards the end. Remember, Joe Mixon is actually practicing and will be playing for the Bengals, unlike another running back we don't know about from the Steelers. So, just put that out there. Of course, AJ Green's the best wide receiver in that division. Okay, you got Brandon Fell. Okay, you got Tyler Boyd, who was drafted last year. The running game, the defense. I don't got to talk about the defense. We all know the Bengals got a nasty attitude defense, and compared to the Baltimore Ravens, their defense will be a little bit better. That's why I got the Bengals number 1 winning this division.
Dula, what you got for us?
Look, I think you got it right on the Browns. They're going to be bottom feeders. I think their key is that they need Deshaun Kaiser to take that job now. You don't want to go through a season of Brock Osweiler. You rather Deshaun Kaiser take his lumps and get better. You really don't want him sitting on the bench. And I really don't want to see Brock Osweiler play another down of football, honestly. The guy's terrible. As far as the other 3 teams, it's somewhat interchangeable. I like the Bengals on offense. I like their defense. I just feel like, when is this team going to get over the hump? They had a few years where they were in the playoffs but couldn't get out the first round, whether it be self-discipline, whether it be just crapping the bed. It's kind of like they're fool's gold. So we'll see what happens with their new additions on offense with John Ross to get, the complimentary piece that next to A.J. Green. Crazy enough, like Mike Williams and Corey Davis, he's hurt. But, we'll see what happens with that. Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco, how serious is his back injury? If it's serious enough to where Ryan Mallett has to play games, good luck. Ryan Mallett's terrible. And as good as that defense can be, no one can save you from a terrible quarterback. I'm sorry. It's not that good of a defense to do that. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think they'll win the division. I still think they're the class of this division. I think they're too balanced on offense. Yeah, they'd love to have Le'Veon Bell, but they'll find a way. You got to watch out for them in the playoffs, just, at linebacker. Who's going to, is TJ Watt going to emerge? He had a good first preseason game. Is TJ Watt really going to take that spot from James Harrison? How's that secondary going to perform? They got some players on the front 3, but just as a group, how are they going to come together? But If I'm a betting man, I think it's going to go Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cleveland.
Well, just real quick, Della. James Harrison was the rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. The rumor was James Harrison said that if anybody sits down for the national anthem, they better be in a wheelchair. So maybe he's telling T.J. Watt, stop getting sacks. You're the backup. Move over.
Stop showing me up a little, bro, running against all that oxygen. You're looking so good.
We'll move on. That's all I want to say.
The last division. Let's do this, fellas. Let's try to wrap this up. AFC South. Ooh. Ew. What's going on here? This is ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this isn't looking good. You all know my bottom feeder, I'm sure, already. Actually, you probably don't. Because for me, it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh.
I honestly think, as bad as we've been hearing, Bortles and them and Jax, Indianapolis may have it a little worse. T.Y. is going to be your shining point, along with probably Moncrief. And I like Jack Doyle. I think he can be an emerging tight end this year. But you really have nothing in that backfield. That defense is really starred by Vontae Davis, and he's probably on the other side of the good part of 30s. I just don't like any of the pieces they have. There's nothing really significant back there. So I really think Indy just goes 6-10 this year.
Well, Josh, my whole thing is offensive line. My God, then we're hearing Andrew Luck again maybe out 4 to 6 weeks with a shoulder. Then you got in the backup quarterback who's to be the backup for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, my God, listen, I'm gonna keep it real. If Andrew Luck is hurt and he's out 4 to 6 weeks with his shoulder thing, please call Kaepernick. Don't do this to yourself, because the coach did so much defense. This is probably the best defense that Peyton Manning never had a defense like this, and they stacked up very well. And you got an offense, but now no offensive line, and you got a quarterback. And when the quarterback comes back, your offensive line sucks. They gave up did you see how many sacks they gave up the last game? Oh my God! I was like, I thought are those the starters? Listen, Sherman, our brother from 2MW, and Tyrone, listen, love you guys. But y'all was drinking when y'all saw that offensive line. Yo, Sean, say it one more time, Sean. O-line. My God. That offensive line was terrible last week in preseason. They could have, those starters.
My third team in that division is just going to be one win above the Colts, and that's just going to be the Jaguars. I really like Fournette. I think he's going to be a very good back for them. It's really going to rely on Bortles. We've all been hearing the reports. Allen Robinson, I think most of us saw that video from the other day. We're not, Blake Bortles' struggles are nothing new. A UCF quarterback, he's more of a project. But, I have a little faith in Tom Coughlin, kind of running the show over there. Him being the Overwatch, I'm hoping he instills some more discipline over there in a sense, and an urge to want to win in that organization as a whole. Because since the Fred Taylor, and Mark Brunell days, they really haven't seen anything since Tom Coughlin last coach there. But I think they have a decent season, nothing spectacular. Jacksonville's still disappointed at 7-9, but they got to go in that direction of, this is Bortles' make or break season, in my opinion, to where they decide if they move on from him or not.
Well, my pick, let me give you a hint. I don't want to stretch out my free Zeke shirt. So here's my thing. My pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So here's the thing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the issue with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And listen, for everybody in 2MW who came out and was like, yo, did Spoon say that? It was National Joke Day. I just threw out a joke there. Now, when you have your wide receivers skipping on practice, yo, throw that shit. Man, Bortles, what's going on there? Now you got Lee hurt, Allen Hurns hamstring issues, Allen Robinson, they stud there. Now all of a sudden you got Leonard Fournette, who Dulles said it the other day. When Fournette came out and said the NFL is not too fast for me, the man hurt his foot. Now he got foot issues. Got a good defense, but the offense is, and I don't think they like Bortles too much.
Probably not, man.
Colin Kaepernick is available if you need a stud quarterback to compete with Bortles. Y'all playing with fire now. Third place. Josh, can we have a tie here? Can we have an agreement on this, the only division? Let's see.
It's looking like that.
My second in the division is going to have a 9-7 record. They're really going to be propelled by that defense and that defensive line. The quarterback is going to be a question mark, but I still think he's going to be serviceable enough to carry it out. He may or may not lose his starting job because of that rookie behind him, and the coach wanted to give him some reps. And that team is going to be the Houston Texans. I like Tom Savage. I like what I saw out of him in a small sample between the 3 or 4 weeks that we saw him playing. And he obviously showed that he can win the games given the talent that he had. It's going to suck not having Will Fuller on that offensive side of the ball. Absolutely will. But that defense is so damn good, especially that D-line. It's probably the best D-line in football, you could argue. And they got some good cornerbacks back there. They obviously know they have the depth back there. If they were able to lose A.J. Boye, who was probably one of the best corners in the game, to free agency, they were just like, yeah, go get your money. We're good here. They really have a good defensive mastermind in Houston over there, and I think they can squeak away with on a nice kind of almost up rebuilding type year at 9-7.
Damn, Josh, I can't believe I'm saying this.
Trying to find those pieces in Houston, man.
And number 2, hey, we on the same page, Josh. I got the Houston Texans. Hey, you know what the problem with these Texans? We had a guy in Colin Kaepernick. You know, not a problem, but when the best quarterback on that roster potentially is a rookie quarterback, that's a lot to ask. I know what Dak Prescott did last year is Dak Prescott, but everybody's not the same. I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson cannot do what he did, but the thing is, it can be pressure. Now he looks very poised. Very poised. But then Tom Savage came out and says, I'm not going to give him my job. First place. They drafted a guy in the first round. Normally when that happens, you're Mazzati, and then you got Brandon Whedon who's there. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're wrong for not signing Colin Kaepernick. I mean, you still could have did it. But you drafted a quarterback. But the thing is, the experience was, how do they run that offense? Are you going to have Deshaun Watson, if he's the starter, pass that ball a lot more? Because, I mean, Miller as a running back, I'm sorry. I'm not really feeling – Miller is he's an okay running back. He's nothing special like a Ezekiel Elliott or a guy named Bell who's not in camp right now. So, you know, Miller is a regular – but he can help carry that offense. Now, the most important thing is Watson connecting with Hopkins. That's the most important thing. I believe their receiver, drafted pick last year, Miller, he's out for the year, I believe. And number 2 is out. So they got Fedorowicz, the tight end, who they're going to have to rely more on the passing game. Defense is good. J.J. Watt is there. You're going to have Clowney. But it's going to be interesting to see how those quarterbacks do. I'm not feeling savage, but Deshaun Watson is going to have to grow up fast.
It's that playbook, man. Yeah, it's just the verbiage in the playbook. Those quarterbacks come over for such a simplistic offense, and they will run into the 16-word play.
Right.
So, capping it off in the AFC South, it's going to be the Tennessee Titans. I got them at 10-6. You know, I think they struggled through the season in the beginning because they got a tough couple of games. I think Oakland, they might suffer an L there. And I think they might suffer a little shocker loss at Jacksonville, kind of one of those things where it's still fresh in the beginning of the season and they got to work things out. But I think they get it together through the middle of the season. And towards the end, I had them towards the end going on like a 5-1 streak. They're only lost to Arizona in that stretch. So I think they can take that in the AFC South. Tennessee Titans, Mariota coming back, having a few weapons to play with now.
Well, listen, I got the Tennessee Titans myself. Most important thing is a running game. I think they have the best running game in the division. You got DeMarco Murray, you got Derrick Henry. They got some new toys to play with the receiver Cole Davis drafted. Delaney Walker, other stub receivers they have is they got a nice, pretty decent defense. I think the Tennessee Titans and the Mariota is a dual threat. He could run the ball. He's a great athlete. Passing that ball, staying in that pocket is gonna be very important. But I think with the running game, it's only gonna make him better. And I think the Titans are the best overall team in that division.
Absolutely. Wonder what Dula's thinking over there in his freaking little mastermind pod.
You know, it's a crapshoot in this division, man. Flip a coin. Who cares?
We're already at that point with Dula. The who cares
No,
part.
because it's kind of like, all right, you know, let's start with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm pissed off with their front office because Andrew Luck's shoulder should have been fixed years ago. And they let this thing continue on way too long. And now you're potentially damaging the guy the rest of his career. So shame on them for not fixing this sooner. It's especially when they've tried to make some gains. You know, they add Malik Hooker, you know, in the secondary. They get a few more guys, you know. I mean, I'm not sold on Hilton, Moncrief, and Dorsett quite yet, but, you know, there's potential there. But, Jesus, if Scott Tolzien is your quarterback, you know, you're asking for a lot from him, you know. Jaguars, another team, Jesus Christ. You look at each position, they got talent across the board. They get Calais Campbell. They got Miles Jack. They got Jalen Ramsey. They get Barry Church. But when will they put it together? And second of all, when will Blake Bortles become a big boy quarterback? You know, Chicago fans, if you're watching this is what happens when you draft projects at numbers 2 and 3. They don't amount to anything because you got to play them early. So I'm boggled. You know, I think this is another year where next fall or next spring, they'll be taking another quarterback in the top 10, hoping for the best. I don't think Blake Bortles is it. I think Allen Robinson skips town after this year, et cetera, et cetera.
Raging.
Right.
Interesting.
John. Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, the last two teams, you know, I'm high on the Titans, but they're young. They got to show me something. This is their time to do it.
Yeah.
I'm concerned because they get Corey Davis, but Corey Davis is hurt. That's supposed to be the de facto #1 receiver, but he's coming in hurt. So we'll see how much we can get out of him. I like their run game. I like Murray and what's the boy, Henry? Derrick Henry?
Yep.
I like their run game. This may be a team that has 2 1,000-yard backs. They're going to run the ball a lot. They'll play defense. So I think that's why it's a smart move to have them win that division because they'll run the ball well to play defense. They got some studs at left and right tackle with Jack Conklin and Taylor Lewan.
Yep.
Their interior line is pretty good. And you got Mariota. That boy can run too. You just want to keep him healthy and upright. What team did I miss? The Texans. Oh, God. Same story from last year. Their defense will be good. I think this is another team that needs Deshaun Watson to play week 1. They can't really fool around with this Deshaun Watson because if you play him, so here's what happens. If Tom Savage starts, the only way he's losing that job is if that team does horribly. Otherwise, you'll play him the whole 16. If your goal is to have Deshaun Watson be the guy, play him now. And roll the dice and see what happens. You saw what happened last year. They went 9-7 with Brock Osweiler.
Well, he could get the Kurt Warner treatment, you know, like, hey, yeah, we understand you might be all right, but it's time to get the rookie in.
Right. No, I totally understand. It just depends on. I think Tom Savage will start week 1. We'll see how they play their first 5 games.
True. Yeah.
If they go 1-4, 0-5, Deshaun Watson's going to play, and by that point, if they're 0-5, it's looking bleak.
Oh.
But hey, it's the AFC South, so hey, they could start 0-5 and finish 9-7 and win the division. So
All right, well, we've been on for about an
Whatever.
hour. I guess maybe I could open a call to see if anybody want to jump in and say their piece. Let me see the okay. Conference open.
Unlocked.
I mean, I don't know if there's any last words. Hopefully, give it like about a minute or two, see if anyone jump in. But I mean, I think we covered everything.
Listen, John, here's the thing, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to call him. They're gonna take the picks the way we pick and hold that. They want to sob it, let them sob and cry. Because here's the thing. We call out the division winner because that's what we see. It's gonna happen. Listen, I know Steelers fans in 2MW are shaking. Oh, how come we go number 3? It's not number 1. You're dysfunctional right now. Raiders fans, listen. Yes, Marshawn Lynch is back. Not Beast Mode. Marshawn Lynch is back. Beast Mode is in Seattle. He hasn't played yet with y'all. So, listen, it is what it is.
I mean, Corey have some shots fired. Just a little shot. He said, funny how Bell is the reason we in the third, according to Spoonie, but Cowboys still win the division.
Well, it's funny he said that because here's the thing. With Ezekiel Elliott, I recall he was one of the ones that said last year when we drafted Ezekiel Elliott, why did we do that? We have a 1,000-yard runner and McFadden. Did he say that? And our other running back. So my whole thing when it comes to that is if Ezekiel Elliott is not there, we have 2 running backs who had 1,000 yards the past 3 years and combined with 2 Pro Bowls. So great offensive line. I don't see any reason why Dallas can't win the division. Then there's nobody absent for a long time over money.
Well, it looks like you have another fan on the live chat, on YouTube live chat. South of Heaven 88. Go Cowboys. One of your friends too?
trash.
Garbage.
Garbage.
What he's saying?
Garbage.
No, it's a Cowboy fan. You got a Cowboy fan in the live chat, on the live chat wall. He said, "Go Cowboys."
There you go. There you go. Go Cowboys. That's what I'm talking about. America's team. We all here. We all over
There we go. It just takes one guest comment to get Tim going.
Listen, Tim. America's team is fitting for the Cowboys, seeing as how they got the most players.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey,
you know the difference between us Cowboys fans? You want to know the difference? The Cowboys fan, they want to listen up to say what's going on with the Cowboys. The Steelers, the Raiders, the mother fans. They like this. Third place. They got no argument. Josh, the only thing those teams are good at is Madden video games. That's it.
Well, you know what?
That is it.
Kyrie Mann just said this is his predictions for the AFC. Raiders winning the AFC the end. That's his prediction.
Josh, you can take that, Josh.
Look, get a defense and we can talk. When the Raiders get a defense, then we'll see what happens. But again, you talk about Derek Carr, he had a lot of comebacks last year. That's not a good thing. That's bad.
My parting words is a little PSA for Zeke Elliott. This is Zeke. I'm going to keep my hands off of people from now on. I'm not going to go to clubs, and I'm not going to hit women. I love you, NFL. Thank you, Zeke. That was very nice of you. Appreciate that. You're really growing up before our eyes.
You know what? I have to get you back on that one, Josh. I have to get
you were waiting for that, weren't you? You were waiting for that.
Yeah, Josh had that that was Josh's bucket list.
Oh man!
But you know what? Any other readers, Sean? Any other fans with issues?
The recent ones, but I think I covered the other ones earlier today.
I mean, come on, listen. I tell you this, football is back. We can't wait. Oh, wait, Josh, 1 point piece. Are we gonna name the AFC playoff teams now, and then or we gonna wait till next week?
Next week, yeah. Let's build the suspense.
Yeah, they can wait. They can
Yeah,
wait.
let's wait.
3 weeks though. 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Fantasy Fury.
They can wait till next week. Next week we'll be doing the NFC and the whole playoff and who's gonna win Super Bowl.
Can't wait for
Who's
that.
Sounds like a plan, guys. You know what, guys? Thank you for joining in. I also like to give a quick little shout out to whoever on our private wall post, Corey, Dave, Donaldson, Kyrie Man, chiming in. I know I'll probably miss a two, trying to get their word in.
Garbage.
I see Tashoma. I'm going to probably screw up your name. Calkins? Sorry, I'm bad with names. But you know what? Calkins, yes. Sorry, I missed your comment earlier today. But you know what? You have next week. We'll be back again, same time, same place. Try to do it at 8 o'clock. Might be a little late and all, but we'll be right back, same time, same place. Like I said before, we in, we out. Tim, Dula, Josh.
NFC next week, knuckleheads.
No Zeke.
No Zeke.
Peace, love, and togetherness, y'all.
6-game Zeke.
And we out.
That will be reduced.
6 week Zeke, baby.
That will be reduced.